What exactly is it? Does anyone want to take that?
All right, thank you so much. And thanks to Media General for doing us the honors and supporting us. Because
Please get closer to the microphone for me.
This year, Media General is one of our partners.
Right.
All right. So Live2Lead is a John C. Maxwell Leadership Conference. And John C. Maxwell is reputed to be the #1 leadership expert, actually globally. He's written more on leadership and taught and coached leaders across the world. And he has Live2Lead as an annual conference, which is held in Atlanta and is hosted across the world in about 300 locations every year. And we in Ghana, through the Center for Transformational Leadership and John Maxwell certified coaches, which Doris and I are, including other coaches in Ghana, we pull ourselves together every year to host that conference in Ghana and to offer opportunity for Ghanaians also to benefit from this conference. This will be our 7th year that we are hosting this conference in Ghana. And so we make sure that we encourage leaders across the board in business, in corporate life, in industry, in churches, in schools, and everybody to be part of it, because this is a conference that empowers executives and leaders with practical tools to be able to do their leading better. And so that is, in brief, that is what Live2Lead is. And what we do in Ghana is every year we try to give it a local flavor. So every year we bring local speakers. So John Maxwell himself select the international speakers, and we will select Ghanaian speakers, and we put them together, and they share thoughts on specific themes that we choose for the year.
This year's theme is Leading for Legacy. I want us to focus on this in the contextual sense of Ghana. What should it mean to anybody seeking to attend this event?
Thank you very much, John. I would like to come from the background that leadership is cause and everything else is effect.
That's right.
And so if you look at our country, the context of the marketplace, our social lives, etc., it also gives you a sense of what the current situation is and the extent to which leadership has contributed to what we are benefiting or not benefiting. And so as far as the local context is concerned, I believe that our theme for the year, Leading for Legacy, is seeking that alignment that we are all looking for, the alignment that will bring a certain level of leadership, of accountability, of honesty, of initiative, of readiness to contribute, of problem solving, so that the quality of lives of Ghanaians can be improved. I know that when we talk about leadership, there are many people that will look at those with certain positional leadership titles. People will immediately go and look at the president, will look at the ministers and the MPs, etc. Yes, these are positional leaders who have responsibilities to Ghanaians to contribute to the quality of life. But we, through our conference, Live2Lead, are also reminding every Ghanaian, for that matter, whether you hold a certain office or not, that there is that change story on the inside of you, that you've also got something to give. And it's up to you to rise up, to hone your leadership skills, to lead yourself, and then by extension, contribute to improving the lot of the others that are within your network and within your community. So this is where we come from.
Interesting. Let's pay attention, Amzenim, to the format and the venue. These days, people go virtual meetings and people go in-person meetings. What would this Live2Lead platform be like in terms of format?
Thank you very much. And I said we've had this for this is the 7th year. And the first 3 years, it was all in-person.
Right.
And then because of COVID, the last 3 years, it was all virtual. This year, we are doing a hybrid. So we're going to have an in-person session and we're going to have a virtual session. The in-person session will be held at the auditorium of the EcoBank Ghana new building, the 3rd floor auditorium, very luxurious place. We are fortunate to have EcoBank Ghana in that respect, partnering us to be able to do this there. And the process for registration is very, very simple.
Tell me about
you
it.
Go on our website and it's Live2Lead Ghana.com, and then you can just register. And when you go in person, we're going to have executives and others who will gather together with the local speakers who we can talk about later on, and they will be, you interact with them in the morning. Then in the evening, in the afternoon, we will have a simulcast, a live simulcast of the live event held in Atlanta, where John C. Maxwell himself and the other international leaders would also be broadcast live into the room where everybody will be. But the virtual platform would also, those who will be on the virtual platform will have the same event broadcast onto specialized portals, which you can hold. And actually, in that portal, the event will be recorded and you can have access to it for 5 continuous days after the event. Okay, so it's because the whole objective is to enable you take time, digest the lessons,
assimilate everything, and
to be
pick on and run with
it.
Who are the speakers that have been assigned to share knowledge and to also build the next set of leaders who will leave a legacy?
Let me start with the global leaders.
Right.
And for the global leaders, we have John C. Maxwell himself. He's written over 150 books on leadership. And I'd like to reference him by saying before servant leadership and transformational leadership became the thing, decades ago, he was promoting and advancing this leadership with compassion, with empathy, being sensitive to the needs of the people, and seeking the ultimate good and the interests of the people that you are leading, as opposed to lording it over them or expecting the people you are leading to serve you. He's been championing this, and he's going to be one of the very key speakers addressing us. And I think people should not miss that option, that opportunity to have John Maxwell address you directly live. Okay. And then we also have, still on the tickets, he will come in more on the global ticket. We also have Ryan Leake, who is a global speaker and executive coach, a Wall Street Journal best-selling author. We also have Marcus Buckingham. He's as well a global researcher and best-selling author. He's a champion and revolutionist when it comes to strengths. We have Kendra Scott, who is a founder and a designer. And when you bring it down home, we have the gentleman that's called the Black Pearl, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng. So the heart surgeon, globally acclaimed heart surgeon who set up the Kolebu Cardiothoracic Center. And then we also have Andrews. Andrews is the Andrews Techiapia. He's the founder and the CEO of ZP. ZP has presence across a number of countries in Africa and outside of the continent. I think 20 plus and counting in the area of funds transfers. Okay, and then we also have our own Ohenere Gifty Auntie. Also on the ticket, you know, she's the GDA Media Limited founder and also the host for the famous Standpoint Television. And we have all these will be in person for those who are in person. And then we'll have the global speakers also join virtually. Yes.
Ms. Anim, let's look at the cultural values and then also the business aspect of things and how that finds presence, or how do we situate that in the theme lead for legacy? Let's contextualize that.
Let me just look at this way. You know, in a traditional setting, even to be an ancestor, you must have achieved something, and there are some people who are not given ancestral status,
even though they are very, very old and have died a long time ago.
So if you just live any life, nobody would name anybody after you. Which means that your power to influence and impact is very critical, and our traditional values actually recognize that. In our traditional setting, leadership was not, yes, we know the other positional aspects, but leadership was supposed to be for the people and impact the people. And that cultural elements seem to be missing when we now come to the national and sometimes even corporate leadership, where the leader, which we usually would define as those who hold the position,
Right.
which is also not the true definition of leadership. The true definition of leadership is the one who is able to influence and add value. So if you're holding the position and you're not adding value, it's not going to be helpful.
Right.
So this team is asking ourselves as leaders, when you tomorrow are dead and gone, what will you be remembered for?
Right.
Let's just go to any funeral. Nobody talks about the cars, the houses, and things you left. People are talking about how you touched their lives personally and affected them. Organizations, politicians, schools, whatever leadership you are in, how are you impacting lives? And that is where this team becomes very, very relevant in our time.
You want to add a bit, Doris? The culture and business sense, and then also living for legacy.
Yes. So just carrying on from where Sam left off, I think the question that we want to invite people to reflect and to find an answer to is what will be my legacy?
Right.
The other day we're having a conversation where we're looking at Nobel, the founder of the Nobel Prize,
Right.
and how he had the opportunity to hear his supposed tribute and how it was so negative that he decided to turn the story around by doing something differently. And now we have the Nobel Peace Prize that is honoring people that are transforming our lives across the globe. That's the kind of thing that we want to invite our fellow citizens to. You may not be the one to set up an award like the Nobel Peace Prize, but you might be able to bright a certain corner that you are in. You may be able to contribute to the solution. There are people crying in Ghana today. There are people sleeping without eating. There's a breakdown of leadership if you see the quality of life and you see and hear the stories going on around. Yes. And so we are inviting everyone to see what their legacy will be, what they can contribute, what they will do, as opposed to sitting back and expecting someone to leave a legacy for them to enjoy. We should shift away from the legacy of big houses. I was able to accumulate money for my children all the way to grandchildren, to impacting lives, to setting people up and empowering them so that they are able to champion a certain transformation in our various communities. And I believe that if we rise up to this call, that we'll begin to see a shift in the quality.
Zanim, let's look at the bigger context of Africa. How do we position this such that transformational and continental developmental agenda is achieved because we were able to tune people's minds, sharpen and hone their minds, and refocus their attention to know that I can also be the solution, I can lead, I can live and leave a legacy behind, and all of that. How do we do that?
All right. Thank you so much. And Doris talked about leadership is cause and all others are effect.
That's right.
And when we look at our continent today, we can see it. And we have said, we had independence the same time with the Singapores and Malaysians. And we quote that. And what's the difference? The difference is leadership. When we come to Africa, there are a few countries that are cited. We cite Rwanda, we cite Botswana, and a few others. What's the difference? It's leadership. So this factor of transforming our continent is going to ride on the back of solid leadership. Leadership that is selfless, leadership that is focused on building the continent and not just, as one judge you say, create, loot, and share among our friends and family. If we can turn our leaders' mind around and let them understand that decisions that leaders make is what causes poverty or riches on our continent, that will be good. And so at the Center for Transformational Leadership, at the team of John Maxwell coaches, and we also have another organization we team up with, which is called BCA Leadership, where we are trying to bring coaching and training of leaders across Africa,
right,
so that we can change the mindset of leadership being positioned for my benefit, but leadership being opportunity and responsibility to impact life. That is what we are looking at. And Live2Lead and the other programs we do in our various platforms is aimed exactly at this.
Let's look at the partnerships for this year's, Live to Lead, Living for Legacy.
Yeah.
Who have been our supporters and helpers? Let's say thank you to them as we get ready to wrap up the conversation.
Yes, we will say thank you to. We'll start with where we are now. Media General has been one of our supporters this year.
Right.
We have EcoBank Ghana, who have been our support. We have a new university which is focused on, legacy and leadership and entrepreneurship, the Heritage Christian University, who are supporting us. And there's another organization that you'll not think about. It's called the Village of Hope.
Wow, the orphanage.
This is an orphanage. But the leadership of Village of Hope is so focused on transformation and legacy that every year they'll bring several of their members to Live to Lead, just to be able to train them. And this year they are even supporting in a different way. The leader there is also a John C. Maxwell leadership coach, certified coach. And these are the ones who have supported it.
I've seen the Village of Hope structure. Their structure is different from the other orphanages. Of course, we made donations then. They try to build a family.
Absolutely.
And then individual homes.
Absolutely.
So the children are giving father and mother figure to lead them.
Exactly.
Their concept is totally different.
Absolutely.
As opposed to crowding all the children in one room. So I congratulate them.
So these are the ones who are supporting. But we have other organizations who, through their bringing so many people to support. We have UBA Ghana. We have Stanchart who are bringing. We even have the DVLA who are also bringing a lot of people. We have Coronation Insurance and several other organizations who today are supporting by way of sponsoring so many people. I mean, UBA, for example, is bringing 45 of their members. Stanchart is bringing 30 of their leaders, and others who are really bringing.
I think the beauty of what he's saying is the effort, recognizing the efforts that people are making for us to see that critical mass of leaders who have a different mindset, because we need that critical number and want to invite others to also follow suit and bring more people so that together we can achieve the transformation.
Fantastic. I thank you very much indeed.
So the event is on October 6th.
October 6th, yes.
Friday.
This Friday at the EcoBank auditorium, but you can also connect virtually. www.live2lead.Ghana. And then you can register. And then you have access to all the tools and resources. I thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you so much.
Doris Ahiati is the CEO of Crescendo Consult, and she's a financial consultant, and also Mr. Samuel Enim, leadership coach for Center for Transformational Leadership. And he's been coming here to train us plenty. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll head straight into the Volta region. You know that the tidal waves have not been easy on them. We'll find out what's going on. And we'll ask the critical questions. For how long would they be giving rice, oil, and buckets and tents when their homes are being washed away? Where do they cook the raw rice? Where do they go to cook the raw rice? I don't know. I'm just asking you. Where do they go to cook the raw rice? Good morning to Nadbo. See you after this break.
Ghana, are you ready? Mark your calendar as the Makers House Chapel International presents the Experience Conference 2023. From the 1st to the 8th of October, it's the gathering of the spiritual luminaries of the land.